Hello, we are from Group 1 and members of Group 1 are Ade Kartika, Emelia Carolina Tazkia Anugrah, and this is our project video about American's president that inspire us. As for Emelia, she chose Abraham Lincoln. In 1861, Abraham Lincoln was elected as the 16th President of the United States. In 1863, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared all slaves in the Confederacy are free forever. For Ade Kartika, she chose Harry S. Truman. Harry S. Truman was born in 8 May 1884. He is the 33rd President of the United States of America or USA, who served from 1945 to 1953, and he died in December 26, 1972. As for Tazkia, she chose Lyndon Baines Johnson, or we known as LBJ. He was the vice president who was appointed to become president after the death of President JFK. Johnson was also the youngest leader ever in the congressional elections in 1954.
Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1801 in Hardin County, Kentucky, now in Lowry County. Abraham Lincoln was an American warrior and statesman. Lincoln, one of America's most admired presidents, grew up as a member of a poor family in Kentucky and Indiana. And the next president is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States who served from March 1861 until his assassination. In the presidential election, Lincoln received only 14% of the popular vote but easily beat three other candidates, one from Southern Democrat, two from Constitutional Union, and the last from Northern Democrat, Stephen Douglas as from U.S. Senator for Illinois, ordered the abolition of slavery through the Proclamation of Emancipation in 1863 and added the 13th article to the U.S. Constitution in 1865. Lincoln closely supervised the war, including the election war. What is the most inspired by Abraham Lincoln is Abraham Lincoln, known as the father of democracy, also had a revolutionary leadership style of the people, by the people, and for the people. Experience, courage, and charismatic, so respected, were able to give freedom to slaves. He carried out the Emancipation Proclamation that freed over 3 million slaves and recast the Civil War as a war against slavery.
Harry S. Truman was born in 8 May 1884, is the 33rd President of the United States of America who served from 1945 to 1953 and died in 26 December 1972. The second president is Harry S. Truman.
Harry S. Truman was the 33rd President of the United States of America who served from 1945 to 1953. He was also first appointed as Vice President, accompanying President F.D. Roosevelt for approximately 3 months. After Roosevelt died, Truman officially became U.S. President.
Inspiring thing about Harry S. Truman.
One of the most important decisions made by Truman that no other president made was the use of atomic bombs on Japan. He ordered 2 bombs, one against Hiroshima and another against Nagasaki.
Apart from being instrumental for his nation, Harry S. Truman was also instrumental for the independence of other countries such as Greece, Turkey, and even Indonesia. To help economy issue after World War II, Truman solved this problem with issued the doctrine, which served to save Greece and Turkey from the clutches of Soviet Union. And the last is, Truman forced the Netherlands to recognize Indonesian independence. How Truman inspired me. Truman himself has helped many allies of the Greeks and Turks. One of these doctrines is issue a policy stating that United States will support Greece and Turkey by providing economic and military assistance to prevent them from falling into hands of Soviet Union. Imagine if Greece and Turkey were colonized by Soviet Union. Many people would suffer, there would be no more freedom for them, and even many lives would be lost. And the most inspiring thing is how Truman wanted to help Indonesia formalize its independence. If not for the help of the United States, it might be difficult for our country to get recognition from the Netherlands.
As a president, Truman not only played an important role for his people, but also other countries. This proves that a president must not only have a political soul, but also a sense of justice. Learning from Truman, we must also do the same. Not only sympathy is needed as a human being, but also empathy that does not only worry about it behind without doing anything, but moves directly to help and solve the problem.
Hello, as the project, I chose Lyndon Baines Johnson as American's president that inspired me. Lyndon Baines Johnson became the 36th President of the United States, succeeding President John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated. He was previously elected as Vice President of the United States in 1960. Johnson was born in Texas, United States, on August 27, 1908. Johnson's career in politics is increasingly uphill. He became a member of the Democratic Party, and by the time the Democratic Party had controlled the majority of seats in the congressional elections in 1954, he succeeded in becoming the youngest leader ever to lead a Senate majority group. On 27 November 1963, for the first time as President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson addressed a joint session of Congress. During the 24-minute address, Johnson urged Congress to approve the civil rights law and a tax reduction as soon as possible as the greatest way of commemorating the memory of dead President John F. Kennedy, according to the Chicago Tribune. In light of Kennedy's assassination 5 days earlier, the crowded House chamber remained somber. Nonetheless, Johnson received a 2-minute ovation and was interrupted 22 times by various bursts of applause during his addresses of speech. The reason these things inspire me is because even today there is still a lot of racism and discrimination that occurs in various countries. So I can remind myself not to do things like racism and discrimination, and I have to respect every human rights. I can also use LBG's productive attitude as a role model for the future so that I can be more productive at doing things without complaining too much. I also don't need to be ashamed of making money from any job as long as it's a good job, just like what LBG did when he was young by shining other people's shoes. In many respects, Johnson's aspired to be more historic figure than FDR, passing more legislation. He also assisting more people, lifting more Americans out of poverty, and in some aspects, he was successful thanks to the program he termed as the Great Society.